Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Don't Forget to Tap. This is your host, Chris, and this is just me documenting and journaling my jiu-jitsu journey and going through the process and the frustrations and all that stuff, but doing so as a white belt versus coming from any kind of place of experience at all. Last night was a really great class. So I haven't been able to go. I try to train at least 3 to 4 times a week. And last week I was able to do twice. And this week I'm going to try to be able to do anywhere from 3 to 4. So a little bit back on rhythm and everything. But last night we had a really great class. So the way that my school is kind of set up is that each class throughout the week builds up off of the last class, and so it was very unfortunate. I had to miss Monday just because I'm kind of, everyone's got excuses and everything, but I'm helping out with some projects, and I just was running really late on Monday, and that happens, right? That's just kind of the journey sometimes, is that life gets crazy, but the most important thing is that you don't stop. So I made it in last night, and it was the class that I not only wanted but needed. And hold on, I'm going to take a quick sip of pre-workout. Okay, so last night was a really good class, and we worked on other things, but the biggest thing that I wanted to kind of dive into, because this has been such a frustrating thing for me, and I'm going to kind of go into the backstory of it a little bit, is triangles, right? Triangle chokes. And so I'll go into the history a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you why this class meant so much to me. So I started jiu-jitsu a little over a year ago, and look, this is me being humble about it and telling you all the things that have and haven't gone well through this journey. And I will tell you that I have never, in situational sparring or actual sparring or anything, and it's not like I have this crazy place of experience, but I have never successfully finished somebody in a triangle choke due to actually choking them. I think I've had one person tap before, and I think it was a sympathy tap, just because I think their head was like uncomfortable or something. But it definitely wasn't because it was choking, and they even kind of told me that afterwards. And so I've just been so frustrated with triangles because I feel like I get in the position sometimes, and then I'll start just trying to do what I guess I do is, with the amount of experience I have, is if it's not working, I try to use more muscle to make it tighter, and I know that's not how that's supposed to go. So last night was a class dedicated to the details and the fundamentals and all the little things of adjusting a triangle choke, and I'm probably still absolutely horrible at them, but I definitely understand, at least at this point, with where I'm at and what I got and everything, I understand a little bit more of the mechanics of it. And, again, just thankful to have great coaches, great people to train with that are able to help break that down. So I'll kind of talk about what I've learned, what I saw and everything. And I would love to hear feedback from you guys, some of the people with experience and everything. But triangles have always been that frustrating thing. In fact, I was really borderline on the edge of seeing if maybe I could do like a private, or maybe just have somebody take me off to the side and show me some triangle, fundamentals, because it's just, I found myself in that situation where I could potentially try to do it a couple times and it never goes well. And so last night in the class, we were going over it, and there were so many things that I never knew. So I'm going to use terminology. If you use something different, that's awesome. If, your school teaches something different, I totally respect that. I'm not here to argue because I have no experience to argue from. But so one of the first things that I took into account, and this is really just me paying attention to later, and I'm going to title this something with triangle chokes, so I can always come back to this when I get frustrated with him again, is what's really important is that initial bite, putting, the back of my knee creates that initial bite onto their carotid artery and pulling the arm not just through but across. And we learned a couple different ways to do that. You can go under. If they try to hide the hand from you, you can go under and feed it out and all kinds of stuff. There's a million ways to do that, and especially if they break posture, or not break posture, but if they posture up really good, then you have a couple options there. And so once you pull that arm across, that's where you kind of create that initial bite, is the term that we used. And that initial bite is really, really important because that establishes the fundamentals of the whole thing. And so you just kind of work it in. If they're trying to posture up, you can grab the head, pull that arm. A lot of different things you can do with that. And then in addition to that, so that second bite where you're walking the back of your knee over the next part, and then you angle yourself, and that's something that I think that I was trying to do, but it wasn't going very well, is creating that angle, like angle your hips towards I'm trying to say this right so I don't mess myself up. Go towards the initial bite, the first leg that creates the bite on the carotid artery, angle yourself towards that. But I did learn last night, I was rolling with one of the purple belts in class, and he taught me this, is that if that angle is not working and they're trying to fight against you, if you just angle your hips the other way, they basically helped you create tension on the choke, on the pressure and everything. So thank you to my training partner last night, who just took the time to break down all kinds of technique for me and really let me kind of experiment. And we, just very, very grateful to train with the people I train with. But anyway, coming back to the technique, another thing that I learned, which was really important, was when you establish that second bite over, the back of your knee over your ankle, grab that ankle, grab their head, pull their head in, keep your foot flexed out, because you can actually hurt yourself by not, if you don't flex that foot out. And it creates more pressure and more tension, so flex that foot. You can, I think they said you can ankle lock yourself, and knowing me, that's very much something that I would have done. So, but yeah, and just repetition. Another cool thing we learned last night, we were doing, kind of modified open guard, modified closed guard. And, my coach had a term for it, and I'm just trying not to sound stupid when I talk about it, but basically it's where you're kind of off to the side. You have them in your open guard, or your closed guard, and you're off to the side. And this is something that I've definitely caught myself doing a number of times, where if if I start to try to find an angle to take someone's back, and I'll pull them in, and I don't create enough space for them to fall into my chest for me to take their back, they'll just roll over, and then I feel like I'm back in square one. So that was a really big takeaway, and also as well as like doing drags, like dragging the person backwards to be able to open them up. And you can do so if you grab that nearest, this is definitely something I wanted to note to myself to remember, but if you grab that nearest lapel, you can actually open up their chest to give yourself the availability to get in there and do that back drag. And that was something that Austin, the purple belt that I rolled with last night, he's crazy skilled. I mean, everybody other than me is, but he just gave me a lot of really, really good tips, tricks, let me try some stuff. He feeds me a lot of things, and just to see if I can set him up. And one thing last night I appreciate he did, and I caught on that he let me do it, because there's no way in the world that I would ever be able to catch him in any of this stuff. But he kind of set it up so that my triangle failed, and he wanted to see if what I did next. And so getting an arm bar, once that triangle failed, am I able to transition to the arm bar? And so he definitely fed me that. I found it eventually. But it's just like little things like that that remind me how important it is to just keep rolling, especially with the people that have the experience, be super receptive to everything. And I'm just really thankful. Last night was the class that I absolutely wanted and needed. And hopefully I find myself in a situation where I go to set up a triangle choke, and I'm like, I don't completely brain dump everything, especially in the heat of the moment when you're just feel like you're trying to survive and everything. But yeah, so excellent class. I'm gonna go tonight, 6 o'clock class, and then there's some just open mat afterwards, kind of sparring for an hour, and it's with all levels and everything, and I can actually go to that now, so I'm pretty excited about that. But it's like Austin was saying that it's a great place. There's black belts that come, brown belts that come, and you're gonna definitely take a little bit of a beating, but at the same time, they're gonna slow down, and it's just great instruction and willing to teach you things. And he said that was a really good place that he's learned a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited. Of course, it's incredibly intimidating. I haven't gone to the advanced class yet. That's still something that I want to just really master my fundamentals a little bit more. And I don't think that's kind of the purpose of fundamentals, is you never actually master fundamentals. But I want to just work on a couple more things, but not to make that like an excuse or anything like that either. So it's just something that I want to work on myself, my game a little bit more before I go in there. But I also know going in there is going to help me work on my game. So that's the irony of the situation. But yeah, I'm really excited. I've just been incredibly into it, loving it. I not going Monday and Tuesday kind of gave me the itch to want to go, and I was just trying to find like any way I could fit it into my schedule to make it happen. But I'll kind of leave it there because I'm roughly at that 12-minute mark. But I will say this: I did order some patches for Don't Forget to Tap, and I've reached out to a couple people to be guests, and I know I always say that, and the guest thing is something that I really want to work on the second year going into it and having this podcast, because while I'm sure many of you love listening to me, there's so many other people with the experience, with the ability to talk about this stuff and offer advice to people like myself and other white belts out there, that I definitely think that it would be one of those things that would be really cool. I've reached out to a couple people that do things like me with the podcasting world, and then I've reached out to some of the instructors and stuff like that. And so looking forward to sharing some of that stuff with you guys in those interviews, hopefully, and everything. So with that being said, I will leave it there. Keep training hard, keep being a great partner, keep learning, keep going out there and doing all the important, fun stuff that jiu-jitsu has to offer. But at the very least, don't forget to tap. So I will see you guys next time, and you guys take care.